Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing fantastic because we finally got the announcement. Call of Duty will officially be in Game Pass day one. And you know, obviously I'm trying to temper my expectations as much as possible, but I can't help but get a little hyped. The trailers we've seen for BO6 so far definitely have me invested, and the fact that you no longer have to pay $70 for the games is honestly amazing. But of course, no matter how good news may be, there's always going to be people who try to twist it in a negative way, which is where DreamcastGuy comes in, because according to him, Xbox is freaking out, and Call of Duty and Game Pass is the last thing they can do to save the Xbox brand. And no, I'm not kidding, he says that in the video. So yeah, I may be excited for Black Ops 6, but right now I'm more excited to check out this video because I cannot possibly imagine how bad this is about to be. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this.
What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about Xbox because it just feels like Microsoft is attempting a very dangerous gamble right now. Just a few minutes ago, they announced that Call of Duty is coming to Xbox Game Pass, and while people are initially extremely excited, I think this comes with some goods and some bads, and I want to discuss why this is such an interesting experiment that could lead to the death of Xbox.
Now that is a bold claim right there. This could lead to the death of Xbox, he says. And by the way, in case you couldn't tell, that's completely false. Now this could lead to the death of Game Pass, but the Xbox brand itself, that's not going anywhere. They make too much money and they just spent too much money on publishers to go anywhere. Although I will say, I am very excited to hear what exactly the bads of this are. Because from a consumer standpoint, the only downside to this is that Game Pass is definitely going to get a price increase. But even then, it's likely only going to be like $3 or something like that. Which, I mean, $3 extra for COD day and date, in my opinion, that's a good trade-off.
Let's discuss. Hi, I hope you're having a great day. If you could, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already.
Alright, I'm going to reuse the same joke that I did in the last DreamcastGuy video. Say it, Kratos.
Now let's start with the extreme positive of this. For the last couple years, it feels like Microsoft is kind of afraid to brag. You know, like when you actually consider it, Nintendo will talk about their games selling tens of millions of copies. Of course, we see stuff like Sony really loves to do a victory lap and talk about the fact that they have 55 million PS5 sold, but Microsoft, even when they do release a good game or do something actually cool like Hi-Fi Rush, they don't take the time to actually flex.
I mean, DreamcastGuy, do you have memory issues or something? Do you not remember when Hi-Fi Rush came out, they were bragging how it hit over 3 million players, how it exceeded their expectations in basically every single way? Do you not remember any of that? Because I sure do. Or how about when Starfield came out? Remember when they got all those 10 out of 10s and like 9 out of 10s, 4 out of 5s, and 5 out of 5s, all that stuff? And they put together entire art pieces that had like the Starfield character, and then it had all the reviews surrounding him. Like, Microsoft is not afraid to brag when they get good scores on something, or when something sells well, or, you know, gets a lot of Game Pass downloads, whatever. It's just, they don't really have much to celebrate too often, especially when it comes to console sales, like, let's be real.
This, to me, is maybe one of the biggest Xbox flexes I've ever seen, because they're announcing that the next Call of Duty is going to be on Game Pass before we've even actually seen it. Like, we haven't even actually seen gameplay or multiplayer or anything, and to me that's kind of interesting. And if you look at the replies, a lot of people are kind of reflecting back this air of confidence. Game Pass subscriptions are about to skyrocket. Xbox continues to be the best console for me. Huge W for Xbox.
And then there's you over there in the corner claiming that they're freaking out and they're doing this to save the brand. Like, that's my biggest thing. You already know if Sony did something like this, you would be saying, oh, massive Sony W, this is absolutely amazing. PlayStation can't stop winning. But since Xbox is doing it, they're freaking out. They're trying to save the console. It's all doom and gloom. Like, you can't make this up. But putting that aside, I don't know if I'd call this a flex. I mean, I guess, yeah, maybe that. I'm not sure. I'd have to think about it. But it it definitely is a massive announcement because I think a lot of people were expecting COD to come to Game Pass in like 2025 or beyond. At least me personally, I was not expecting to get COD in Game Pass day one this early. And just imagine if at like the showcase this summer or around the time Black Ops 6 comes out, whatever, they announce, oh, we're bringing all the past COD games to Game Pass, or we're gonna start like drip feeding them over the next few months to years. That would be absolutely insane. And honestly, I would be surprised if Game Pass subs don't skyrocket after this. And if they don't, then that's probably the end of Game Pass right there. Because yes, I understand it's profitable. They have 34 million members, whatever, but it's a subscription service and they keep adding stuff. They have to see growth or they're gonna have to close it down. Ultimately, we shall see what happens.
Now, of course, if you scroll down here, a lot of people are like, hey, great win for those who play COD. Some people are like, oh, this sucks. This isn't going to be good. Look, even if you don't particularly like Call of Duty, I definitely think there's been more bad Call of Duties than good Call of Duties, but undeniably, this is a completely massive W. This is a billion-dollar franchise.
Okay, so it is a massive W for them. Then how come in the title you say Xbox is freaking out and in the thumbnail you have the concern face? I mean, if you were keeping that same energy, wouldn't you put major Xbox W in the thumbnail and maybe even in the title? And you'd look like super excited? I think we might have some clickbait going on here. Or maybe he'll find a way to twist this into a negative. I have no idea. Whatever, let's keep going.
Now, I have seen some journalists chiming in with a lot of the raw numbers because clearly the point of this is to get people to not just sign up for Game Pass, but those who have yet to start this generation. The raw numbers have actually been kind of shocking, but there has been a lot of reports that 50 million people are still gaming on their PlayStation 4s. This is coming to PlayStation 4. There's already been some leaks that is coming to PS4, PS5, PC, and Xbox. So it sounds like they could actually get some people to go straight from PlayStation 4 to Xbox. At least that seems like kind of the idea behind this.
Yeah, and it seems like a pretty good idea to me, because think about it this way. You have like 50 million people still on PS4. A big reason those people are still on last gen is probably because Call of Duty continues to come out on last gen. Now, obviously, like he just said, Call of Duty is going to still come out on the PS4 and Xbone. However, we're kind of at that point where if you want to keep playing current games besides COD, you really do need to get a current gen console, because who knows, COD might stop coming to the PS4 and Xbone like next year or the year after. So basically, if you're on PS4, you're going to have to upgrade at some point if you plan on continuing to play new games, obviously. And given how popular COD is, many people will in fact switch to a different console just to continue playing it. I've said this before, but PlayStation needs COD, COD does not need PlayStation. And if people can switch over to a next gen device for the cheapest price on Xbox, and on top of that only have to pay like 15 or 20 bucks a month for COD and Game Pass, people are definitely gonna do that. And if they don't, then at that point there's just no hope for the Xbox console. If Call of Duty of all games cannot entice console gamers to switch to Xbox, it's just so jover. Notice I say for the console, not the brand as a whole. That's a clear distinction that needs to be made, because DreamcastGuy thinks this will be the end of the entire brand, which again, that's not happening.
Now, let's talk math.
No, I don't want to talk about math. I did not do well in math. There's a reason I'm a history major. As soon as letters got added to math, everything was ruined. But whatever, I guess let's see where this goes.
So, Xbox internally, during this big court case they had last year with the FTC, they talked a lot about how they're going to make their money back. If you're purchasing a company like Activision for $70 billion, how do you even regrow that amount of lost cash? And it turns out they did just talk the math. They talked about how much they would need to make per year. So it sounds like what they need is at least 2.5 million subs for this to make sense. Optimally, about 4.7 in a perfect world, 11 million to fully recover the lost sales in the first month. So essentially, every subscription to Game Pass is like 10, 12 bucks a month. So that means that they're going to get, this is like if they want to get $25 million. So essentially, if they want that back, they have to try and find a way to get to 11 million subscribers in the first month. Obviously, that's not going to happen.
Well, this is a little complicated because let's assume that each Call of Duty title costs $110 million to make. And let's assume every person sub to Game Pass is paying for the lower tier. Not Ultimate, but the $10 a month version instead. So we're assuming like worst case scenario right now. And you also have to keep in mind, this is not considering all the people who are still going to pay $70 for COD. This is basically saying, hey, if they spend $110 million making Black Ops 6 and they wanted to recover that from just Game Pass alone, they would have to get 2.5 million new subs and have them stay subbed for 5 months to make that money back. Or if we're assuming that people are gonna get Game Pass for 1 month and then cancel, then you need 11 million subs. But again, this is not taking into account all the people on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation who are still going to pay full price for COD because people do like to own their games. And that's not even considering the fact that most of COD's money comes from microtransactions. What is it? They make like over $1 million a day from microtransactions or something like that. And with regards to what he said at the end, I highly doubt they're gonna hit 11 million new subs in the first month. But I mean, we shouldn't completely count out the possibility. I mean, COD is absolutely massive. So like with most things, we'll just have to see what happens.
Xbox Game Pass has been stagnating. This isn't some weird business insult. Microsoft has talked about the fact that they just can't get people to sign up for the service, which is why they keep doing those $1 for the first month kind of deals. So if they're trying to basically get what sounds like a 100% increase in size, it's interesting, but...
Wait, I'm sorry, did I miss something? Where did this 100% increase in size come from? 11 million new subs would not be a 100% increase. It would be like a 33% increase. They have 34 million Game Pass subs currently, not 11 million. I have no idea where he got that 100% increase idea besides from out his ass.
Hold on, I want to refresh this because I did see other people chiming in on this math. So a lot of people are discussing that 2.5 million number, and it kind of shows the fact that this does just come down to trying to make the most money back in the shortest amount possible to keep Microsoft from probably shutting down Xbox. And
I genuinely wonder, does DreamcastGuy do any research outside of like thinking something and then just saying it's true? He's like Harmon in that regard. I've said this a million times before. You can hate Xbox as much as you want. You can think they're the worst console, whatever. You can't deny the amount of money they're pulling in. The console could potentially disappear, but there's no way the brand is going anywhere, especially after buying Activision and having like a 62% revenue increase. Like, DreamcastGuy, you do realize that Game Pass is not the end-all be-all of Xbox, right? Also, wow, really? You mean to tell me they're trying to make a lot of money in a short amount of time? Thanks for that profound insight, man. Who could have seen that coming? A company wants to make a lot of money really quickly. Honestly, DreamcastGuy should start like a business channel or something like that. He seems to know all the ins and outs and secrets that nobody else knew. All right, I'll stop being sarcastic.
a lot of people are saying there's no way they're going to achieve that. There's no way this is going to lead to more Xbox Game Pass subscriptions. Like, I am a big believer in the fact that Game Pass doesn't suck, but it also feels kind of irrelevant. I mean, you can play games on PC, you can play games on your Steam Deck, you can play games on your PS5 or your Nintendo Switch, but like Xbox Game Pass, the original advertisements of it made it seem like we were going to be getting Xbox exclusive games, stuff that you couldn't get anywhere else, like Starfield and Hellblade and Minecraft or whatever, and they would be best on Xbox. And I guess that just doesn't feel true. I mean, even when those games are half decent, they don't feel like they're worth that $10 a month subscription.
Well, first of all, Minecraft was multi-platform before it went to Game Pass, so I don't know what you're talking about with that. And then second of all, you do get Xbox games on Game Pass. You get Hellblade and Starfield on their day one. What are you talking about right now? I am so confused. So you'd rather Xbox games be on Game Pass, but then not be on PC as well? So you'd rather be forced to play the games on Xbox instead of having the option to play them on PC? Dude, I am so confused right now, it's not even funny. So does that mean that you want COD to be Xbox exclusive now? I am, dude, my brain is melting right now, and it's not because it's like 80 degrees outside. It's because DreamcastGuy's sub 80 IQ is hurting my head.
The biggest card that can be played, Xbox Game Pass, is getting Call of Duty. Whatever the consumer response is, this release will have massive implications for the world of gaming. My best guess is that we'll see a small sales bump in Q4, but it doesn't significantly change the patterns on other platforms and sells a few incremental Xboxes, but not enough to significantly change the trends. He does also reference the fact that there have been some rumors that they're going to possibly have a big price increase to Xbox Game Pass this year. If they do that, I do think it's going to be a mixed bag. Maybe people sign up for it, but only for a single month instead of long term.
Now, notice something. DreamcastGuy skipped a very important line right there. Could be, parentheses, quite likely to be, in fact, wrong. Matt himself admitted there that he is very likely going to be wrong on this. And on top of that, in the footage that I cut out, just for the sake of time and whatever, DreamcastGuy was talking about how Matt gets a lot of stuff wrong. But it's just so funny to me. He reads everything except that last sentence about how he might be wrong. And also, I'm gonna say, I'm not an industry expert. I don't know how to make like these predictions and all that stuff. I'm not trained in it, whatever. But even I could have told you with confidence that Game Pass is getting a price increase. Like, this is not a big surprise, or at least it shouldn't be. Although I do agree, this response will have implications for the future of gaming. If this pops off, if they gain like a ton of new Game Pass subs, if this pushes a lot of new Xbox console sales, it's gonna be a huge deal. But on the flip side, if this completely flops, if they don't gain a lot of subs, whatever, it's also gonna be a huge deal because, again, it'll probably mark the end of Game Pass. At the end of the day, though, it doesn't matter how many predictions we make. All we can do is wait and see what happens.
Now, this is cool, but I think it is a sign of the times. Xbox is currently in panic mode. It's pretty obvious that the reason we have not heard from Phil Spencer in a while, or Sarah Bond, or Matt Booty, or any of the people that are actually at the top of Xbox ever since they started shutting down studios, is because I think Microsoft has stepped in and said, hey, it's time to make money.
What do you mean we haven't heard from Matt Booty and Sarah Bond in a while? We just heard from them recently with regards to the whole Tango closing situation. Now, granted, what they said was a bunch of bullcrap, but we just heard from them. And how are they in panic mode? You're acting like COD coming to Game Pass is a last-ditch effort to save the Xbox brand, which I think he even said in a previous video. Even though, you know, this was the plan from the start. COD was always going to be coming to Game Pass. It was just a question of when. And again, why would they be in panic mode when they are in third place in the entire gaming industry for revenue? I think if anything, Phil Spencer's just sitting back playing some Fallout 76, trying to nuke the people who nuked him, and is just enjoying all the positive reception to this news. Again, hate Xbox all you want, but to say they're in panic mode is just stupid. But anyway, I just looked through the rest of his video, and that's pretty much all there is worth covering. Apologies, I did have to cut out quite a little bit of this video. Like any DreamcastGuy video, there's a bunch of filler that's just not worth discussing. So yeah, with all that being said, that's gonna do it for this video. And I guess before I go, I'll just ask, do you have Game Pass already? Are you okay with a price increase if it means COD comes over day and date? And if you don't have Game Pass, would you get it just for COD? So yeah, anyway, with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you all next time.